Accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and that never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate dramatic devices into your public gestures and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. Julius Caesar made his first significant mark on Roman society in 65 BC, when he assumed the post of aedile, the official in charge of grain distribution and public games. He began his entrance into the public eye by organizing a series of carefully crafted and well-timed spectacles, wild beast hunts, extravagant gladiator shows, theatrical contests. On several occasions, he paid for these spectacles out of his own pocket. To the common man, Julius Caesar became indelibly associated with these much-loved events. As he slowly rose to attain the position of consul, his popularity among the masses served as the foundation of his power. He had created an image of himself as a great public showman. In 49 BC, Rome was on the brink of a civil war between rival leaders Caesar and Pompey. At the height of the tension, Caesar, an addict of the stage, attended a theatrical performance and afterward, lost in thought, he wandered in the darkness back to his camp to the Rubicon, the river that divides Italy from Gaul, where he had been campaigning. To march his army back into Italy across the Rubicon would mean the beginning of a war with Pompey. Let me read three more paragraphs, okay? Before his staff, Caesar argued both sides, forming the options like an actor on stage, a persecutor of Hamlet. Finally, to put his soliloquy to an end, he pointed to a seemingly innocent apparition at the edge of the river, a very tall soldier blasting a call on a trumpet, then going across a bridge over the Rubicon and pronounced, "Let us accept this as a sign from the gods and follow where they beckon, in vengeance on our double-dealing enemies." The die is cast. All of this he spoke portentously and dramatically, gesturing toward the river and looking his generals in the eye. He knew that these generals were uncertain in their support, but his oratory overwhelmed them with a sense of the drama of the moment and of the need to seize the time. A more prosaic speech would never have had the same effect. The generals railed to his cause. Caesar and his army crossed the Rubicon and by the following year had vanquished Pompey, making Caesar dictator of Rome. In warfare, Caesar always played the leading man with gusto. He was as skilled a horseman as any of his soldiers, and took pride in outdoing them in feats of bravery and endurance. He entered battle astride the strongest mount, so that his soldiers would see him in the thick of battle, urging them on, always positioning himself in the center, a godlike symbol of power and a model for them to follow. Of all the armies in Rome, Caesar was the most devoted and loyal. His soldiers, like the common people who had attended his entertainments, had come to identify with him and with his cause. After the defeat of Pompey, the entertainments grew in scale. Nothing like them had ever been seen in Rome. The chariot races became more spectacular, the gladiator fights more dramatic, as Caesar staged fights to the death among the Roman nobility. He organized numerous mock naval battles on an artificial lake. Plays were performed in every Roman ward. A giant new theater was built that sloped dramatically down the Terpian rock. Wow. So, this is a chapter from 48 Laws of Power, Recreate Yourself. I'm going to go into this real good memoir and talk about my synopsis of it. The man who intends to make his fortune in this ancient capital of the world, Rome, must be a chaplain susceptible of reflecting the colors of the atmosphere that surrounds him. A protist have to assume every form, every shape. He must be supple, flexible, insinuating, close, inscrutable, often base, sometimes sincere, sometimes perfidious, always concealing a part of his knowledge, indulging in but one tone of voice, patient, a perfect master of his own continuance, as cold as ice when any other man would be all fire, and if unfortunately he is not religious at heart. A very common occurrence for a soul possessing the above requisites, he must have religion in his mind, that is to say, on his face. on his lips and his manners. He must suffer quietly. If he had been an honest man, the necessity of knowing himself an arrant hypocrite. The man whose soul will loathe such a life should leave Rome and seek his fortune elsewhere. I do not know whether I am praising or excusing myself for all of those qualities I possess, but one namely flexibility. Giovanni Casanova, memoirs from 1725 to 1798. 48 Laws of Power. I love this book, man. And this was just like maybe a page and a half I just read. And Law 25, Recreate Yourself. Now, this really relates to the topic I want to really discuss. That, guys, forget being average, man. Recreate yourself. Come to more renewal. Come to a higher position of power of anything, of your work, anything you want to be in life. You are the CEO of your life. We have to get back into that, man. Especially as a country, if you want to rise up in this capitalist society. Do you gain knowledge as much as possible? Be open-minded to all subjects and all things. Make a conscious decision. Be committed. Self-discipline. Harmony in human relationships. Financial security. Those type of things. Now, I really like how Robert Greene went in detail about some of the examples that Julius Caesar was into power and how he ran a successful gladiator, theater. Gladiator. A lot of people was fighting to the death. He was actually part of that. And I think it was kind of pretty much gruesome back in the day, in Rome. But he was the prime minister at the time, and he actually gave what the audience wanted. Man, people used to go out and pay for fights to see people die, and just it was just crazy, man. But I just like how he went into detail about these certain things. But my thing is too, it's just all about just reviving yourself. That's all it is. You have to change your mindset first. Forget being average, man. Good coworker of mine. He said this quote to me, and I just want to share this too. He said, instead of taking 2 steps forward, instead take 4 steps forward. Meaning, always go beyond what you're doing. Napoleon Hill, greatest man, always said this too. Can't really remember verbatim, but he always said this. If a man does something that he's really not getting paid to do, eventually he will be paid for his efforts. He will be paid for his actions that he's doing. So you always gotta go beyond. You gotta go harder than the next person. Whether it's sports, anything, speaking, whatever you want to do, go harder than the next person. I'm not trying to create a competition, but give more. Always give 110% on what you're doing. That's my lesson for today. That's what I want to say. Forget being average. We are all extraordinary. We got all of us 2 eyes, a nose, 1 mouth. We can do this. Let's go beyond everything that you're doing. And that's one of the keys to success. And that's what I'm implementing now in my life. It's your boy Young Lincoln here. I just want to say thank you for continue to support the movement, Young Link Nation. Continue to oh yeah, if you ain't follow me on Instagram, you're playing with yourself. It's at xlink93. I'm gonna put the link in the description box. You guys take care. Let's rise up. Each one teach one, forever conscious. Check out the book 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Deuces.